And after endless dull games, we've had a second nail-biter in 2 days. Australia finished on the last ball, winning by about 4 runs. Comprehensive win. Well, not comprehensive, but super win over New Zealand. We have with us today Imran Aslam. How are you doing, Imran?
Hey Faris, good. How are you? What a game
Very
we've
well.
seen.
And this is the Shiny Side podcast, of course, and I'm your host, Faris Shah. And getting right into it, Imran, let's start with the 33-second summary of today's game. So go for it.
Sure. So New Zealand won the toss. Strangely enough, put Australia into bat. Australia were off to a fly straight away. Travis Head making a comeback and starting off as if he's never been out of the game. Got a 60-ball 100. Him and Warner put up 150 odd in 15 overs. At one stage, they looked well set for 450 plus. New Zealand pulled things back really well with their spinners, especially their part-time spinners doing well, and restricted, if you can call it that, Australia with 338. You would have thought 338 would be 388, sorry, would be way too much, but New Zealand came out positively. Amazing century from Rachin Ravindra. He keeps improving as every day, and in the end, Nisham stuck around, almost pulled them over the line, but just short in the end and lost by 5 runs.
Good stuff. 42 seconds. So yeah, look, I guess we have to start at the end, right? Because I know yesterday was dramatic, but this was dramatic in a very different way. When the 8 wickets went down, they needed 42 of 20, and sure, Nisham was there, but you pretty much thought Australia had the game at that time. And it came down to what, 19 of the last over. It came down to something like 7 of 2 balls, and Nisham got out running a double. So we had Ferguson facing on the last ball with the 6 needed, and insanely dramatic.
Yeah, it was. I think when Matt Henry got out, I thought that was it. But Nisham stuck around. Bolt hit that lucky 6 with Labuschagne stepping on the ropes.
Yeah, true.
Reminder of Bolt himself stepping on the ropes 4 years back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nisham again, right? So he's come in for Chapman because Chapman had a niggle. Now, Nisham is probably the kind of guy who can play that any lower down the order without really needing to get set, right? And he hasn't been in the 11 for the last 3-4 games. He's gone unnoticed, but he's probably, I mean, I'm not sure if Chapman comes back out of this knock.
Yeah, I mean, a good problem to have with for New Zealand, how Chapman comes back after this, because I mean, you would have thought that they lost a batsman for more of an all-rounder, and their batting was a bit weakened. But yeah, the way Nisham played, hard to drop him after this for sure.
Yeah, and I guess let's stick to the second inning for now. But Australia's Starc went for, so this is the first ever World Cup game he's played where he didn't take a wicket, by the way, in 3 World Cups, and he went for 89 of 9 overs. Would you say going forward, Australia's death bowling or the ability to contain is a concern? I mean, I know it's one game, but you should be defending 380 quite easily, right? Come on, it doesn't matter who you play.
Doesn't matter who you play. Doesn't matter. You can say it was a flat pitch, whatever. Doesn't matter who you play. Doesn't matter what pitch it is. 380 should be defended 9 times out of 10, if not more.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Starc looked a bit off color today. I mean, 5 wides in the last over.
Yeah, that was the second last over, right?
No, last over.
Last over, yeah.
5 wides in last over. Very, very, not something you expect from him at all. But he's Starc. He'll bounce back, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He needs to get in the zone one day. Ball swings a bit, and he can be his lethal best.
Yeah.
I guess
Hazelwood bowled really well in the end, I think. So he kept it tight. Even the second last over, good over from Hazelwood.
Yeah. So I guess we have to talk about this. So I said in the Australia-Pakistan game that, very often they say when a team is chasing, they say that the openers kill the chase when they go really hard. And in the Australia game, I had said Marsh and Warner kind of killed the game in the first 20 overs, right? And I felt like today was a very similar pattern where it seemed like Warner and Head kind of killed the game off in the first, in the first 19 overs. They were 175 run partnership in 19 overs. If you think about it, Australia pretty much just went slightly over 6-0 from there. But they had done all the real damage at that time, right? And Head coming back after, the first game in his tournament, he had fractured an arm last month. And him to come back and start with 100 or 60 ball was just epic, I thought.
I mean, just unbelievable. And, coming back of an injury is always hard. Coming back of an injury to the hand for any batsman is always going to be hard. I mean, I can remember many instances of people coming back from hand injuries and taking some time to recover, getting back into form. But, just coming back into it and batting the way he did, just unbelievable. Really
the whispers are that if this wasn't the World Cup, he probably would have needed more time for rehab. But because this was the World Cup, they kind of got him in a bit faster. And clearly, he looks ready, though. But
for sure.
And
Sure.
again, Warner continues his great form. He scored 81 or 65, and nobody else really got a 50, by the way. But I think they had a couple of decent contributions lower down the order, but no one actually got a 50. But I guess they had
Yeah, I think
enough of that
Maxwell
platform,
came in
right?
and
Yeah.
Maxwell threw his bat around in the end and got them over to
Yeah.
350.
I mean, at some
361.
point they were 274 for 5 in 38 overs, so it looked a bit like, hang on, can New Zealand get them to under 250, under 350? But yeah, I mean, I think they got about one in the last 12, they got about 107, which is I guess a pretty decent show. So I think where they were squeezed was at the center, and that's where we have to talk about Glenn Phillips, who came in and he bowled his 10 for what, 3 of 30 for 37 and 10. He got the first 3. He got both the openers and Smith, and he was just, I mean, he just balls off spin, if I can say that. But how good was he?
Yeah, I mean, he looks, you see him bowling for the first time, he looks pretty innocuous, just regular off spin, but really good. They just kept it tight, wicket to wicket, bowled with a plan, was not disturbed by the left and right hand combination, just kept it there, kept it very simple, honestly. You keep saying that, hearing that, but yeah, he kept it simple, he kept it there, and he wanted Australia to come after him. They did not really try going after him, and whenever they did, they actually ended up losing wickets to him. So, really good spell from what you would call a part-timer. So, not what you would expect, part-timer coming in bowling 37 for 3 in 10.
Yeah, and if you look at the, and I guess we have to talk about one more thing by the way before we move on, right? Which is what happened at the toss. This is normally what we start the show with, right? And team selection.
Yeah.
So when Head came in, the general view was that Labuschagne would be left behind, and they probably have Stoinis at 7, but they kept Labuschagne in, and they didn't get Stoinis. I'm not sure if Stoinis is recovered from this niggle or not, but I may have even assumed they would play Cam Green over Labuschagne. So were we surprised to see Labuschagne in the 11?
Yeah, I think a very surprising call, because I think Stoinis is still not fit, but I would expected them to go with Cam Green.
Yeah.
And because they had Labuschagne in, that means that they were banking on Maxwell to bowl 10 overs, if not close to 10 overs. By now, I think this is the first time Marsh has bowled in the World Cup.
I think he bowled a couple of overs in the last game, but he hasn't bowled in the first few games. You're right.
Yeah, so he's starting to bowl, so that'll help them. But I would have thought they would go with Cam Green.
Yeah,
and then once Stoinis is back.
The fact that Head also bowls a bit of leg spin, even though I don't believe he bowled today, I think that may have been a factor.
No, he didn't bowl
today. But anyway, I was surprised to see that. Also, New Zealand opting to chase. Any thoughts on that?
Strange move. Very, very strange move. I mean, the only logic there could have been that is Dharamsala, it might seem around in the first 5-10 overs. But I mean, as a captain, you're thinking that, okay, the balls are going to be moving around 5 overs, maybe 7 overs. I have Bolt and Southey, and maybe I can. Sorry, Southey was not playing, but I have Bolt and Matt Henry and Ferguson. So maybe I can get some early wickets. But I think you've got to look at this the other way, like almost as if you go into a test match on an overcast morning. The brave decision there is you back your batters to get through the first hour, and then it's going to be a batting pitch, and then you're going to cash in.
And clearly it didn't do much, right? I mean, we saw that.
Exactly. So very surprising moment. Even if we have not seen Dharamsala seaming or swinging around so far in the tournament at all.
Yeah.
And secondly, even if it had swung around, maybe it would have been 5 odd overs. So just for those 5 overs, I don't think it was the right decision to take to bowl first.
Yeah. So before we move on, looking at the fixtures, I guess. So New Zealand, they both now need to win 2 games to kind of most likely to make it for sure. New Zealand play South Africa, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. Australia play England, I meant to write, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So Australia has the easier fixture. So I think I see them finish 2nd or 3rd, and New Zealand potentially fighting for that 4th spot. But I guess South Africa and New Zealand will be a massive game at Pune next week.
Yeah, so South Africa and New Zealand, definitely it's a big game. That will probably decide who's safer and who's scrapping for the 4th slot. Yeah. I don't see Australia not qualifying now. I mean,
no. I see Australia, like I said, they finished 2nd or 3rd for sure.
Yeah. They had early tournament issues, but I think they've put everything together. Head back is a big lift. The way they won today, massive confidence booster. I think they're looking like the Australia team we know in World Cups.
For sure. And I think they have the material for it too, right? So it's not just about them playing well; they have the solid team. So moving on quickly to tomorrow's game, there's India taking on England. Now, this was probably when whoever made the schedule probably thought this would be one of those pre-final kind of final games, right? But England obviously are in a complete mess. So let's see how they turn up tomorrow. They're still not officially out of it. They're as in it as Pakistan is, I guess. So if they win all their games, they have a chance if certain results happen. Don't expect India to make too many changes. I do feel like since Pandya is not there, they say playing England, they may bring Ashwin for Shami. Good, decent bowling cover, and he can bat a bit as well. That would mean they would only have 20 overs of seam, though. Do you see them doing that?
I think they'd probably, at least I would want them to keep Shami. Given how he's bowled in the last couple of games, I would want him to keep Shami, I think. And I think that's the more attacking move, more positive move. Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of left-handers in the England top five, Malana and Stokes, which you'd like. That's why you would probably think of bringing Ashwin in, but I think still I would go with Shami.
Also for this England, and the other thing is, so on the England side, I've brought Livingston in for Moeen. That's what I would do, because I think India off spin, India will kind of eat it up all up. So I would bring Livingston in. He's probably a better bat these days, and he also has that mystery spin going on. So probably a better matchup against India.
Yeah, I mean, Moeen's off spin, I don't think it's any threat. Yeah. He has not done anything significantly of note with his batting as well.
True.
Livingston, if he gets going, he can smack a few big sixes.
So very quickly, we look at the quiz for tomorrow, for today actually. So the quiz is: New Zealand beat Australia in a group game during the 2015 World Cup at Auckland. Williamson had a 6 of the last ball to finish things off by 1 wicket. You probably remember that game. Who was the bowler he had a 6 against? You have 6 more seconds.
Yeah, Cummins.
And the answer is Cummins. Yes. Nicely done. So I remembered Starc being the one getting all the wickets, but then I guess the over change and Cummins came in and 6 on. So
yeah.
Good stuff.
I think Starc was bowled out.
Thank you, Imran, for being on the show once again.
All right. Thank you for having me.
And if you like the video, please like the video, subscribe to our channel. We'll be back tomorrow night after the big India-England game. In the meantime, stay tuned to the shiny side.